I discovered I have superpowers. I get stronger by dreaming. One night in a dream, I kissed my goddess boss. When I woke up the next day, I found I was even more handsome than yesterday, and I even had 8-pack abs. So, every night in my dreams, I would cling to my goddess, asking for kisses. I became more and more charming, attracting the attention of countless female colleagues. My goddess called me into her office with a serious tone, but her face turned red. Can you stop thinking about kisses? Can you not attract so much attention at the company? Huh? How did she know about my dreams? 1. A few months ago, a beautiful director joined the company, and she is the goddess I've secretly adored for many years. From high school to college, I liked her secretly for 9 years. She used to be an unreachable presence for me. She was the pride of heaven, a flower on a high peak, always surrounded by admirers. Graceful and accomplished, all the beautiful adjectives in the world were related to her. From the moment she stepped into the company, I decided I must win her heart. Of course, I could only dare to do that in my dreams. After all, she was the new director, and I was a new intern, barely having a chance to meet her at work. 2. In my dreams, I was in charge. In my dreams, I shared a bed with Song Qingling, and we were extremely close. Every night, she would tell me bedtime stories to help me sleep and hug me tightly to say goodnight. Time passed quietly. We were each other's greatest love. However, after she joined our company, the dream version of her changed. She no longer liked to hold me tightly and wouldn't call me baby anymore. Even when I tried to kiss her, she would dodge away, afraid of my touch. These days, not even in my dreams could I get my way. I was really heartbroken. I suspected Song Qingling had changed her heart in my dreams. That night, as soon as I entered the dream, I seized the opportunity before she could react. In one breath, I lifted her face and kissed her fiercely. Seeing her weak and helpless, I felt like a beast, a bit guilty. 3. But the next morning, when I looked in the mirror, I discovered there was no stubble around my lips, clean as a whistle. A pimple that had been on my face had magically disappeared, my nose bridge was higher, my features more defined, and my looks had jumped several levels. While changing clothes, I was surprised to find I had gained 8 firm and powerful abdominal muscles. I had a perfectly sculpted waist. What the heck? A single kiss could have such a powerful effect. It seems I need to get more kisses from Song Qingling. That night in my dream, I couldn't help but kiss Song Qingling again. Although she seemed to resist, after all, it was my dream, no matter how she protested, she could only obediently accept my kisses. I held her face and kissed her several times. Song Qingling looked confused, her eyes wide open. Oh no, she won't be scared silly by me, will she? That would be too sinful of me. So, I quickly took her hand and promised her. Baby, I swear I'll control myself in the future, okay? Song Qingling's lips twitched as she pulled her hand away, gritting her teeth. You better do so. That was truly impossible. I just said that off the cuff, I can't control myself right now. Who told me I liked her for so many years? She was like a beautiful red spider lily, once touched, she was addictive. 4. The next day. When I woke up again, I had become even more handsome. My mildly nearsighted eyes had surprisingly recovered to perfect 5.0 vision. My height had also increased from 180 centimeters to 187 centimeters. At this rate, I could rival top male celebrities in the entertainment industry. Simply perfect. That night, I continued to make my move. Completely ignoring Song Qingling's shocked expression, and kissed her 100 times. At first, she resisted and wouldn't let me kiss her, but later, she probably realized it didn't work, so she gave up and let me kiss her. That made me feel even more at ease. When I returned to the company, I felt as if I were bathed in spring sunshine, glowing and refreshed. I stood tall, and male colleagues praised me for becoming handsome. When female colleagues saw me, they all blushed shyly. I felt happy inside, graciously accepting everyone's attention. You wouldn't believe how good my mood was today. Nearby colleagues couldn't help but ask if I had won $1 million prize. I smiled and said to them, "What's $1 million prize? This is even more exciting than winning a prize." Just as I was speaking, Song Qingling happened to enter the company. She was wearing an elegant white dress, her eyes cold and distant. As she walked past me, she glanced at me. I smiled, showing off my perfect 8-tooth grin, and greeted her enthusiastically. "Good morning, Director Song." Song Qingling's lips twitched, and her expression was not very pleasant as she went up to the second floor. I could still tell the difference between dreams and reality. In reality, I wouldn't overstep my bounds. I originally just wanted to do my job diligently. But I discovered that Song Qingling also dreamed of me every night, and we were sharing the same dream. 5. In the office, several female colleagues from other departments stood blushing in front of me, coming from afar to bring me fruit and various snacks. There were also male colleagues from my department asking me for advice. "Xiao Cheng, how did you suddenly grow taller? Can you teach me how to grow to 1.7 meters? My 1.6 meter height is driving my girlfriend crazy." "Yeah, can you also teach Wang Gu how you usually work out? Your arm muscles. Your abs. They're just perfect. If I had your build, wouldn't I be able to attract a lot of girls too? We both sit in the same office and often stay up late, yet I'm covered in acne marks and have a receding hairline. How come your hair is so thick, and your skin so smooth and delicate? Xiao Cheng, do you have any secrets you're not telling brotherly?" To this, I replied, "It's all because of love. Being in love is the best cosmetic treatment for a man. Dreaming of love is no exception." Many more men and women came to ask me for tips, and I was overwhelmed. Once they all left, I wearily lifted my head and unexpectedly locked eyes with Song Qingling, who was standing on the second floor. Her expression was indifferent, her gaze burning. Her charming peach blossom eyes were so beautiful that they could captivate the soul. My heart trembled, and I quickly looked down, feeling guilty. But the gaze from the second floor didn't withdraw. After a while, I thought about it. Song Qingling must have seen everything that just happened. Oh no! She wouldn't think I was disrupting the office atmosphere and promoting unhealthy competition, would she? Would she want to fire me? Thinking of this, I suddenly felt uneasy. I should have come to the office looking a bit shabby. 6. During my afternoon nap, I dreamt of Song Qingling again. She was sitting in front of me, looking obedient. Seeing her made my mood lift, and I wanted to pull her over for a kiss. But she didn't budge, her hands stubbornly placed on my chest. She looked at me and asked, "Cheng Fang, do you know who I am?" I was taken aback for a moment, then replied, "My wife?" A blush crept across Song Qingling's face as she playfully pinched my cheek and shook her head. "You're dreaming." I paused, thinking to myself that this is a dream, after all. How else could I have her? "Director Song, it would be great if you liked me," I muttered dejectedly. "How do you know I don't like you?" "You don't like me, you like Zhou." Before I could finish Zhou Yu's name, Song Qingling sealed my lips with a kiss. "I like you. I don't believe you unless you let me kiss you again." I kissed Song Qingling, then again, and again. Just as I was about to kiss her lips for the last time, the office phone rang, shattering the dream. Song Qingling's assistant knocked on my desk. "Cheng Fang, Director Song wants you in her office." 7. I took a sharp breath. Could it be that Song Qingling sensed my dream? Or is she going to fire me? This is bad, very bad. Song Qingling was propping her head up, staring at me intently. As I got closer, I could vaguely see dark circles under her eyes, like she hadn't slept well. I bit my lip and cautiously asked, "Director Song, did you call me for something?" She rubbed her forehead. "Did you dream while you were napping?" I almost choked on my own spit, not daring to breathe, and stood frozen for a while. She was too direct. This could easily scare a new male intern to death. I. My handsome face twisted into a frown, my complexion changing repeatedly. I really didn't know how to respond. Song Qingling tapped her fingers on the desk, amusement flickering in her eyes. "Cheng Fang, what's with your reaction? Are you putting on a Sichuan opera?" "It's fine, if you don't want to answer, I can rephrase the question." She paused, as if weighing her words. "Have you ever dreamed about a person frequently?" I bit my lip hard. Suddenly, Song Qingling stood up and slowly approached me, her expression serious. "Cheng Fang, I had a dream. I often dream of you, where you keep kissing me and calling me your wife. Just now, you were trying to kiss me. Do you think that dream is strange? Our dreams are indeed interconnected. Does this mean she knows everything I've done before? Is there a hole I can hide in? Is it too late to burrow away?" I felt like crying without tears. Song Qingling leaned in closer. "Director Song, this isn't really appropriate," I quickly retreated. But there was no place to back away. She pinned me against the wall. Song Qingling smirked, her eyes shimmering like a captivating fairy. I swallowed hard, the words slipping out before I could think. "You look really kissable." The office fell silent for a moment. I'm such a pervert. Did I just scare my wife? Whoa. Suddenly, someone knocked on the door, saving me from a fiery fate. "Director Song, I think I should head out." Before I left, Song Qingling called my name. She looked at me, hesitating. "Can you please stop thinking about kissing all the time? And can you stop attracting attention?" 8. As I stepped out of Song Qingling's office, I was surprised to see Zhou Yu waiting outside. He initially looked overjoyed, but as soon as he saw me coming out of Song Qingling's office, his face contorted like a bitter melon. As we brushed past each other, I sensed a hint of hostility from him. I felt a surge of frustration. After all, Zhou Yu and Song Qingling were childhood friends, a perfect match, and that was the most common thing I'd heard about them. Zhou Yu was outstanding, a gifted student back in high school, adored by many girls. Now, he was the general manager of his father's company. I glanced down at myself. As a former underachiever, I suddenly felt a wave of defeat. Oh well, maybe Song Qingling doesn't like him that much. I silently reassured myself. 9. Back at my desk, my colleagues looked at me with peculiar expressions. One colleague bumped my shoulder, gossiping, "You were in Director Song's office for almost an hour. What did she say? Did she fall for your looks? Do you know Director Song? Does she like you?" The thought of Song Qingling liking me made my heart skip a beat. I was a child from an orphanage. Raised in mud. Song Qingling was a rose, cradled in someone's hands, a figure I could only long for from afar. Even when we were in the same high school, I could only admire her from a distance. She was radiant, shining with confidence. Someone I dared not approach easily. Song Qingling was a year above me. In my freshman year, I sat in the audience while she shone on stage, dancing ballet. Since then, she took residence in my heart. I understood that this high, unattainable flower was meant for me to admire from afar. Yet, I still wanted to strive to reach her. Initially, my grades were poor. I was carefree, thinking I'd just finish high school and get a job. Because I wanted to become someone like her. I began studying day and night, and finally got into the same university as her. That year, I ranked in the top 10 in the city for my college entrance exam, becoming the biggest dark horse in our school. But when I got to college, I found out she was the student council president, always busy, and a year later, she would study abroad. I had very few chances to see her. However, I still followed her social media updates daily. Now, a sudden thought burned intensely in my heart. I want to pursue Song Qingling. 10. That night, when I dreamed, I saw Song Qingling again. This time, I didn't act recklessly, I became restrained and cautious. At this moment, Song Qingling sat on the couch, her eyes slightly closed, and looking at her beautiful face felt like I was transported back many years. The girl standing on stage, vibrant and full of spirit. I leaned in to kiss her, holding back my excitement. Just as my lips were about to touch hers, Song Qingling suddenly opened her eyes and said, "Cheng Fang?" It wasn't me. I touched her face, my cheeks feeling a bit hot. She suddenly wrapped her arms around my waist, preventing me from moving. "Do you know who I am?" I looked up at Song Qingling. Her beautiful eyes sparkling, amber in color. I calmed down for 2 seconds before shaking my head. "I don't know." She frowned tightly. "You kiss her every day without even knowing who she is? Is that a problem?" Song Qingling laughed in anger. "No, of course not. How could it be a problem?" The morning bell rang at the most inopportune moment. In the dream, I blinked my big eyes, earnestly asking Song Qingling, "Baby, can I have another kiss?" After working overtime for the past few days, I hadn't had time to work out, and some of my muscles had turned to fat. If I didn't seize the opportunity to kiss a few more times, my abs would be gone. Song Qingling snorted, "You're really dreaming." In the final second before I had to open my eyes, she leaned down and kissed the corner of my lips. As dawn broke, I awoke from my sweet dream. 11. In the company break room, a female colleague was cutting peaches, and Song Qingling was just pouring herself some coffee. The female colleague handed a piece of cut peach to Song Qingling. Song, have a peach, it's so sweet." Seeing the peach in the female colleague's hand, I instinctively blurted out, "She doesn't eat peaches." She turned her gaze to me, questioning, "How do you know?" Song Qingling also looked at me. I heard someone say it a few days ago," I explained awkwardly. Song Qingling is allergic to peach fuzz, doesn't like drinking plain milk, and prefers Americano coffee. I learned this in my dreams. Song, is that true?" The female colleague asked Song Qingling. Song Qingling smiled, "Yeah, I'm allergic to peach fuzz." The female colleague glanced at me, then back at Song Qingling, looking skeptical. "Why does Xiaocheng know this, and I don't?" Song Qingling smiled slightly at me, "You should ask Xiaocheng." Cough cough. I accidentally fell into a pit. 12. In the evening, with one planning case still unfinished, I stayed at the office to work overtime. I was the last one left in the office. After a lot of rushing, I finally finished the last planning case. I stretched my sore neck, packed my things, and prepared to leave. But when I turned around, I saw that the light in Song Qingling's office was still on. I stayed in my seat for a while. Finally, Song Qingling came out. She looked surprised when she saw me. "Were you waiting for me?" I looked down. "Yeah." She smiled lightly, then "Let's go, Junior." I abruptly looked up at her, falling into her bright eyes, her smile dazzling. Hearing her call me Junior pulled my memories back to many years ago. Back then, just like now, I stumbled into her gaze unguarded. Her dark eyes sparkled like obsidian, and she said, "Junior, your eyes are really beautiful." At that time, she pointed at a girl's envelope on the ground, playfully teasing, "Also, you dropped your love letter." Maybe even back then, Song Qingling didn't realize how much impact her words had on me. After her college entrance examination, she returned to school to give a speech. But I, with red rashes on my face, subconsciously avoided everyone's unusual stares as I walked, feeling inferior and sensitive, and I didn't even dare to casually take off my mask in public. Her words stirred my heart for a long time. I gradually became more confident and started to care less about others' opinions. And then there was the note she wrote. That sentence supported me through the tough times of my senior year. To this day, it's still tucked in the last pages of my diary. 13. When I sat in the elevator with Song Qingling, a silent atmosphere filled the entire elevator. I always felt someone was staring at the back of my neck. I straightened my back, my body stiff, not daring to move at all. Those few minutes in the elevator felt like several centuries, unbearably torturous. As soon as I stepped out of the elevator, I breathed a heavy sigh. Song director, you drove here, right? Then I'll leave first. Wait, I'll take you back, Song Qingling's cool voice rang out behind me. But it's not on our way. Who said it's not on our way? Song Qingling's house is in the city center, completely opposite to my direction. But I didn't continue to ask. When I got into her car, I felt a bit dreamlike. This was the closest I had ever been to her in real life. While I was lost in thought, Song Qingling leaned down to pull the seatbelt beside me, her movements natural and smooth. I was startled, my heart skipping a beat. Song Qingling glanced at me. Qingfang, do you have someone you like? I paused in my breathing. Song Qingling's face was right in front of me, close enough to see the fine hair on her face. The person I like was right in front of me. I answered honestly, yes. She raised an eyebrow and casually asked, is it someone in the company? The company rules don't allow office romances. I'm afraid of being fired, I mumbled. What if I allowed it? My heart suddenly began to race. Song director, are you trying to give me a favor? I forced a casual tone, jokingly asking her, while suppressing my wildly beating heart. Song Qingling gave me a glance, her brow slightly raised. That's not out of the question. The entire company is yours, you can indeed say it's allowed if you want to. 14. Let's go. Where to? I got out of the car, and Song Qingling also got out, taking things out of her car. I stood there in the wind, feeling confused. She wouldn't be coming to visit my home in the middle of the night, would she? I stood still, not daring to move. Song Qingling looked at me. If you want to stand there and catch a cold all night, go ahead. She paused her steps and turned back to me. If you're late tomorrow, it'll be a fine of 1,000. I continued to feel lost in the wind. In the end, I still followed her steps. Who can tell me? How does she know the way without me guiding her? My heart felt dead, and I shakily moved my heavy steps, preparing to open my door. With a click, the door behind me opened faster than I did. I looked back to see Song Qingling entering the opposite room. She turned back and smiled brightly. Good night, my new neighbor. I was instantly frozen in place. So it turns out my goddess lives across from me. This kind of novel experience can happen to a big man like me. I felt like crying without tears. How am I supposed to dare to dream about Song Qingling at night? 15. I opened my eyes. It was the familiar room again. When I saw Song Qingling lying next to me, I knew I was done for. At this moment, her hand was still resting on my waist, and we were holding each other in an embrace. I gently pulled up her sleeve, trying to move her arm away from me. Song Qingling's hand suddenly moved. I held my breath. Just as I was about to succeed, she hugged me tightly again, switching to a more comfortable position. I tried several more times, but couldn't break free. I gave up struggling, resigned to just letting her hold me. When I got up in the morning, I purposely left half an hour earlier than usual, hoping not to bump into Song Qingling as soon as I walked out. As fate would have it, when I opened the door, we bumped into each other. Song Qingling smiled at me. "Hi, Chengfang, good morning." I quickly greeted her and didn't wait for her to respond before hurrying away. "Chengfang, what's going on between you and Song director?" asked the female colleague who gave me the peach the other day. "It's nothing." She turned her face with a mysterious expression and leaned closer to me. "Oh, do you remember Zhou Yu, the young master from the Zhou family?" I nodded. "He came to find Song director again early this morning. They probably have something good going on soon." "So?" "But I don't think Song director has much interest in Zhou Yu. She hasn't shown much interest in you yet. So, you should go pursue Song." The female colleague looked at me as if she couldn't understand why I hadn't acted yet. My heart trembled for a moment, then tightened, that thought taking root and sprouting constantly. 16. Afternoon. The team leader piled a bunch of documents on my desk for me to hand over to Song Qingling. The office door was slightly ajar, and just as I was about to knock, I heard faint voices from inside. "This dream is indeed strange. Why don't you see a doctor?" a girl's voice said. "Yeah, I've been wanting to go but haven't found the right time," came the reply. I didn't listen closely and went over to the sofa nearby to wait. However, after almost half an hour, the people inside still hadn't come out, so I approached the door again to knock. "By the way, this dream has been bothering you quite a bit, hasn't it? You haven't seemed well these past few days," the girl continued. The words dream and bothering made my hand, which was raised halfway, retract. My feet felt like they were stuck in mud and wouldn't move. Then I heard Song Qingling's extremely cold voice from inside. "It's really annoying." In that instant, it felt like a thunderbolt had struck me. My arm trembled heavily, and the documents I was holding almost slipped from my grasp. I suddenly realized that this dream had always been a source of distress for her. Before this, I had never considered that my dreams might trouble Song Qingling. It was all my one-sided wishful thinking. Now it seemed that, to her, our dreams might just be a burden. Thinking of this, my heart felt like it was being pressed by a heavy stone, making it hard to breathe. 17. The door in front creaked open. A girl appeared behind it, looking at me with surprise on her face. "Aren't you that junior from before?" The girl grew excited and turned to Song Qingling, who was behind her. "Do you remember that time you suddenly fainted in your second year? It was him, rushing to pick you up and take you to the campus clinic. There weren't many people around, and I didn't know what to do. It was really thanks to him that I got help. I didn't expect you to be working here now. You know, you must have a crush on my Song," the girl teased, patting my shoulder. Song Qingling looked at me in disbelief. "Is that true?" "Of course it is." I remember it clearly, and he looked even more anxious than I was at that time, the girl said proudly. Crushes are bittersweet, loving her yet not daring to get too close, just quietly watching her from afar, able to see but unable to touch. Even though several years have passed, hearing someone say it so plainly still makes my heart ache. Finally, under Song Qingling's gaze, I struggled to push the words out of my throat. "It's been a long time, Director Song, you don't need to feel troubled. I've long stopped liking you." My eyes couldn't help but feel a little wet as I hurriedly put down the documents and left the scene. I had originally thought that Song Qingling liked me. After all, we had spent so long together in dreams. Now it seemed that it was more one-sided on my part. 18. After realizing that my dreams were bringing Song Qingling distress, I decided to cut them off. I had serious psychological issues long ago, often dreaming about everything related to my childhood. Even after leaving the orphanage, the sense of oppression made it hard for me to breathe. I wanted to break free but couldn't. The psychologist said this was due to the shadows cast by my childhood experiences. I had been too suppressed and lacked love. Subconsciously, I craved love and affection and felt extremely insecure. The psychologist had tried to provide me with mental guidance, but it didn't help much. It wasn't until a few months ago, when I dreamed of Song Qingling, that I finally rid myself of the past nightmares. In dreams with Song Qingling, I found the life I longed for. I could love bravely and also be unconditionally cherished. The dream was so beautiful that I didn't dare to shatter it. But now, I had to break this dream myself. The doctor had hypnotized me. In a hazy state, I seemed to dream of that girl dancing gracefully on stage. The sun was gentle and warm, and the girl was clear and pure, her eyes full of sunlight, looking at me with warmth. That year, as an outstanding graduate of the school, Song Qingling returned to give a speech. After her speech, many girls rushed over to ask her for autographs and write messages. I foolishly followed the crowd forward. At that time, I still had rashes on my face and was wearing a mask. Someone accidentally bumped into me, pushing me toward Song Qingling. I felt a bit flustered at that moment. As our eyes met, her beautiful peach blossom eyes curved slightly as she smiled and said, "Junior, your eyes are really beautiful." She pointed to the letter on the ground and teased, "You dropped your love letter." My face turned beet red. In fact, that letter was meant for Song Qingling. But I didn't have the courage to send it. I awkwardly smiled and quickly retorted, "It's not a love letter." In the end, I mustered my courage and asked, "Senior, could you sign for me?" Song Qingling smiled as she took my envelope and seriously wrote on the back, "Wishing you a bright future, may the days to come be hopeful." These words were like magic, motivating me throughout my senior year. Whenever I felt lost and confused, seeing her elegant and powerful handwriting would inspire me to keep pushing forward. In countless nights of tossing and turning, I had a thought: I wanted to see Song Qingling, to go to the same university as her. I even secretly tucked her photos from the forum into my English vocabulary notebook. Whenever I felt that life wasn't worth living, just looking at her bright smile would remind me of her words, "A bright future and a hopeful tomorrow." 19. After the treatment, my psychologist said that only when something begins and ends can it be completely cured. She mentioned that I might dream of Song Qingling again tonight, and after that, I could be completely free. That night, just as I entered the dream, I was taken aback. Song Qingling was propping her head up with one hand, lazily gazing at me as if she had been waiting for me for a long time. "Qingfang, why didn't you wait for me today?" "I had urgent matters and left early." "Urgent matters? Did you mean to see the psychologist?" I was shocked. "How did you know?" "My college best friend came to see me today, she's the one you saw in the office." I told her that I had several strange dreams lately and often dreamt of you. She suggested I see a doctor. "But I don't think those dreams are bad, on the contrary, I like having you in my dreams. Also, my family wants me to marry Zhou Yu, but I rejected it. My friend brought it up, and I told her that Zhou Yu and I are just friends. It's really annoying how my family is meddling in my affairs." I listened in a daze, unable to react for a moment. "So, my dream doesn't bother you, you like the me in your dreams?" I asked. Song Qingling smiled lightly, "You're really smart, but you're wrong about one thing. I like you, not just in dreams, but also in reality." My eyes suddenly brightened as I looked at Song Qingling. "Really?" She stepped forward and gently hugged me, laughing lightly. "Of course it's true." I couldn't help but smile. A little shyly I said, "I like you too." After clarifying this misunderstanding, I fell asleep in Song Qingling's embrace. And this dream came to an end. Because of our mutual connection through dreams, we were now on the same wavelength. Thinking of this, my heart brimmed with sweetness. 20. When Song Qingling called me into her office, I felt very nervous. "Lu Meili has been getting pretty close to you lately," she said, tugging at my tie and pulling me down, looking quite displeased. Absolutely not. We're just helping each other as colleagues. I immediately refuted. Song Qingling locked the door behind me, and I felt that things were getting serious. Her warm breath sprayed across my face, and alarms blared in my mind as I raised my voice. Song Qingling, let's talk nicely, keep your distance. Otherwise, I was afraid I couldn't control myself. Sorry, sister, can't do that. She tiptoed and wrapped her arms around my neck, making my body stiffen instantly. Qingfang, I'm so tired, I just want to hug you. Her face leaned against my neck, rubbing slightly, sending a tingle down my spine. Just as I thought she might have fallen asleep, she released me. She smiled softly at me, her eyes deep and serious. Qingfang, I want to kiss you. I was still pondering whether kisses in dreams would feel different from kisses in reality when Song Qingling cupped my face and kissed me passionately. It was like thousands of fireworks exploding in my ears. I widened my eyes, and as the moment deepened, I hugged her back. After she let go of me, she couldn't help but peck me again. Song Qingling held my face, her eyes filled with laughter. Why do you look even more handsome now? She couldn't resist giving me several more light pecks, chuckling, looks like I need to kiss you more. 21. After confirming our relationship, Song Qingling and I began our underground romance. We were always stuck together. I often went to her house, and I could say my home was just a decoration now. In the evenings, I stayed at her place, and no one could drive me away. I frequently kissed her, becoming bolder and bolder. I noticed that Song Qingling loved to stare at my face, and she would sometimes caress my abs. Sister, I suspect that you're with me for my body, I said, feeling a bit gloomy. Song Qingling raised an eyebrow and poked my abs. You're not wrong, thankfully, your physique is quite nice. Sister, not only are my abs strong, but other places are pretty good too. Do you want to give it a try? I said with a mischievous smile as I pushed her down onto the bed. 22. Because Song Qingling cancelled her engagement with Zhou Yu, he came to confront me. At that moment, I was just stepping out when I bumped into him. Zhou Yu glared at me. Qingfang, what are you doing here? I raised an eyebrow and smiled. Why should I tell you? Zhou Yu angrily pointed at me, questioning Song Qingling behind him. You aren't marrying me because of him? Yes, Song Qingling replied coldly. Zhou Yu, I told you a long time ago that I have someone I like. Don't keep pestering me. Zhou Yu pointed at me. He's just a sponge. What's so special about him that you like? I stepped in front of Song Qingling and said coldly, Zhou Yu, if you have a problem, come at me. Zhou Yu sneered. Qingfang, you're just an intern. What do you have to fight me with? Oh, I don't need to fight, we're in love. Zhou Yu was furious. Song Qingling, you will regret this. Forget about that project in the eastern suburbs, you can forget it unless you leave him. Zhou, don't get too carried away, who will regret it is still uncertain, I replied calmly with a smile. After Zhou Yu left, I turned to call my grandfather. Although I grew up in an orphanage, my grandfather is a real estate tycoon. At 18, I was found by his people and reunited with my family. A few days later, Zhou Yu received news that the company was being acquired, and he was furious, stomping his feet. I went to work at Song Qingling's company just to see her more often. Qingfang, you're quite hidden. Song Qingling raised an eyebrow. I leaned in and kissed Song Qingling. My grandfather wants me to inherit the family fortune, but all I have in my heart is you. So, you lowered yourself to become my intern just to see me every day? Song Qingling looked at me, puzzled. I thought for a moment and nodded. That's indeed the case. There was also the aspect of my grandfather wanting me to inherit the family fortune, which I wasn't prepared for yet, but seeing Song Qingling was the most important reason. Qingfang, do you know what a love-struck brain is? It refers to fools like you who are single-minded. But I'm willing to be foolish, being foolish is fine. I couldn't help but kiss Song Qingling again. 23. Song Qingling and I returned to our high school, just in time for the school anniversary celebration. In the auditorium, there was a performance, and the next act was ballet. I held Song Qingling's hand. Do you know when I started liking you? Song Qingling thought for a moment and shook her head. I tightened my grip on her hand and smiled candidly. 9 years ago, you were dancing on stage. I thought that girl was so beautiful, but for so many years, you've been dancing in my mind, unforgettable and lingering. I took out a letter from my pocket. Do you remember this? What is it? It was supposed to be your love letter. Then why didn't I receive it? Song Qingling took the envelope, tears welling in her eyes. She saw the writing on the back of the envelope and was a bit stunned. Isn't this the letter I wrote to you? Yes. At that time. You didn't know how nervous I was when you were near me. I only remembered that she had a faint lily of the valley fragrance, like the smell of the forest. Song Qingling pulled me out of the chapel, pointing to a spot. Wasn't it here that I met you? You remember me? Yes. I remember your slender silhouette and you listening to English listening exercises with headphones in the sunset. Are you surprised? Actually, in high school, I also secretly paid attention to you. Qingfang, I liked you much earlier than you thought. But in high school, I felt we should focus on our studies and be responsible for ourselves and our futures. So I thought some feelings could be buried in my heart. But later I realized that love is unstoppable, like a surging sea, like a wind that can't be held back. Now I think love is free. Since I still like you, let's chase the wind. Suddenly, Song Qingling turned to me. So, Qingfang, I've liked you for a long time too. My heart rippled like spring water. Endless love surged within me like waves. I stepped forward and hugged her tightly. 24. Song Qingling was by the creek feeding the ducks when I tapped her shoulder from behind. Senior, your ring fell off. When she turned around, I knelt on one knee and took out the ring I had prepared for a long time. Tears welled up in her eyes, and she covered her mouth in disbelief. My dear Miss Song Qingling, will you marry me? Song Qingling slowly reached out her hand, her voice choked with emotion. I will. Extra chapter. 1. I remember someone said when they first joined the company that internal relationships weren't allowed. Did you forget? I blinked at Song Qingling, waiting to see her reaction. I also remember that in your dreams, you were always pestering me for kisses, and I felt like I was kissed all over by you. What's this, are you shy now? Song Qingling caught me and pinned me down. Not letting me move. You didn't let me kiss you in your dreams either. I protested, dodging the kiss she was about to land. Song Qingling paused for a moment, then laughed. I thought I was going crazy, dreaming about you kissing me. I used to wake up every day questioning if I was a little pervert. Why? Because every moment I dreamed of you, I was thinking of you. My heart felt sweet, and I grinned. Oh, if you're a little pervert, then I must be a big pervert. 2. I took over my grandfather's company, and every day was busy. However, I attended a company dinner at Song Qingling's office. Everyone drank, but Song Qingling didn't touch a drop. I had 2 or 3 drinks and then collapsed. When I woke up again, Song Qingling was quietly lying next to me, and I couldn't tell if it was a dream or reality. I closed my eyes and tried to relive it. The same scene appeared. I pinched Song Qingling's face, and she stirred. How did you get here? After I brought you back, you wouldn't let me leave and kissed me so many times that my lips almost got swollen. Song Qingling spread her hands. Qingfang, I didn't expect you to be this wild when you're drunk. 3. Ever since Song Qingling personally allowed office romances, several couples appeared in the company. However, to avoid trouble, we kept it low-key. One afternoon, a girl from the company came to confess to me. Just then, Song Qingling happened to arrive at my office. She walked past me with a dark expression and sat on the sofa nearby, silent. I quickly rejected the girl, and after she left, Song Qingling came over and bit my lip fiercely. I told you not to attract so much attention. That evening, she immediately posted a photo of me playing with her puppy on her social media. Below, comments started flooding in. Dog man? I suddenly don't know who the main character is. Why doesn't the handsome guy next to the dog look at the camera? Is he scared? Finally officially announced. 999, congratulations, Sister Song. Brother Cheng, no, 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 President Cheng. Remember to treat Sister Song well. Finally, she sent a message, the puppy is shy, let's all pretend we don't know.